fish sounder. This is just a cheapie, it's a Lawrence, so it's a decent brand. I got this from BCF. It's my local fishing store. It was $119. This is the GPS version. You can get the non-GPS version for a little cheaper. It's only like 10 bucks cheaper. So this is from BCF. It's $119 Australian. So it's really not that much, and which suits our jet ski perfectly because it's going to be built on a budget. So what do we have in here? We've got the actual sounder, and then we've got all the doodads. Alrighties guys, so first step is going to be, you want to basically position everything where you think it's going to fit, where it's going to work. So I've got the screen positioned here at the front of the ski. Now it's actually a lot harder than I thought to position this because the mirrors doesn't seem to work. It's like at an angle, it's not sitting flat. There's nowhere where I can really put it. You know, it gets in the way pretty much everywhere. So I found that's about the only place. So from the front view, that's what it's going to be like. You can still see the screen, no problem. So that's where we've mounted it at the front, where we're going to mount it. And then at the back here, we've got our transducer. And we're just going to mount that to the back of the ski, like so. And we are going to have to drill a hole for this cord to go through. And I've got this little grommet here, which is going to basically keep it nice and watertight. And we'll put a bunch of silicone and stuff as well. But yeah, so just position everything out where you need it to go. Make sure it's 100%. Everything's going to work. No, the steering's not going to get in the way or anything. Position it all where it needs to go. Double check it one more time before you start drilling any holes, and that's it. Start drilling. Let's get into it. I'm a little bit nervous drilling into the ski, but you know, you got to do it. So let's get stuck in. Rightio guys, so for the actual drilling side of things, I'm just using one of these spade bits. It's about a little bit smaller than my grommet, but it's a tiny bit bigger than the other end of this transducer. So hopefully this can fit in fine, and then we can put this little grommet around it and seal it off nice and watertight. The idea too is going to be to drill as high up as possible so that it's not going to be sitting on that water level anyway for your cord to go through. So we want to find a spot nice and high up, work out where we want this position, and drill directly above it. So I'm going to go right about here and just drill straight through. Plug fits now. The plug just fits through there. So that's a perfect size hole that we want. Actually, can push that plug all the way through now. Feed those wires all the way through. Now after we drill that hole, you can go ahead and remove the seat. It just unclips at the back. Take that right off. Now you want to get inside of there and pull that cord through that we drilled the hole. So we got that through now. And we just want to run that along the side of the jet ski. Out of the way of all the hot engine parts that are in there. Keep it in the corner and to the side. Run it all the way up to the battery. If you're lucky like me, then you might even have a bit of rubber along the edge that you can tuck the wire into. Alrighties guys, so the next step is going to be, after you've pulled your wire through, to find out exactly where you want to mount this. This is your transducer, and you want it to be sitting level in the water. So we're going to mount it about here on the ski. That way it's out of the way of the jet. It's out of the way of the sides if the jet ski rolls over or something. Hopefully it'll be pretty protected, and you want to make sure it's nice and level. And we're going to use the screws that are provided and simply screw straight into the ski. We're going to pre-drill it first with a drill, and then we're going to put a bunch of silicone in there and then put our screws in. So guys, this is the drill bit we're going to use. It's a 3mm drill bit. As you can see, it's just a little bit smaller than the thread on our screws. So we want to position our transducer where we want it, right about here, and simply now put our screws in. This silicone sealant here, this is roof and gutter silicone. It's just a little bit better than the standard wet area bathroom silicone. So we simply want to fill those holes with a good little amount of silicone. Simple as that. And now we can go ahead and mount the transducer. As you can see, guys, it is now correctly mounted. Okay, so now for installing our grommet. Here it is, our little grommet. The first step is going to be to cut that directly in half with a Stanley knife. Be careful when you're doing this. Alright, so we're going to cut that directly in half now. As you guys can see, we want to get our silicone again, and where it goes into our cord, we just want to make a nice ring of silicone around the hole that we drilled and where the wire goes through. Put a nice fat ring around there. Make sure there's plenty going on. You can always wipe it off after you're finished. Put a nice fat blob there. Put a bit of a blob on the inside of your grommet. Now, the fun part, simply break your grommet in half, wrap it around the wire, and then slip it into the hole. So it should be completely blocking off any water, and just wipe off the excess silicone. And we'll just add a little bit more silicone on there for good luck. Whew. Also, guys, be careful. Fiberglass splinters suck. Absolutely suck. There we go. That got it out, but be careful when you're rummaging around in the hole there. There's a lot of splinters you can get yourself. Fiberglass splinters are not fun. Step is going to be mounting the bracket exactly where we want it to go, which is about here. So I'm just going to put 4 screws straight through the plastic, no need to pre-drill. 4 short screws. Because we're now going to bring the wire up through the middle. So take it off, simply place it down, get that same drill bit that we had before, and just have a look at your bracket. You're going to want it to come up basically right in the middle. And the plug end can go through the hole that you just drilled. You can go right on ahead and plug it in. Simply open this up, and we want to run our wires down the lid. Use silicone zip ties, whatever you need to run it nice and neat. Down along the hinge, underneath the hole, along the side, and we simply need to hook up the positive and the negative. These 2 wires here, the red is the positive, the black is the negative. We need to hook those up to the battery. With your positive and negative cables that come off the back of the sounder, they've also provided this fuse. So what we're going to do is crimp these 2 wires together, the 2 red wires, and then we're going to put a little adapter on the other end of the fuse. Not sure if you can see that. And then your battery screw will go through that. We're also going to put another one of those on the negative wire, and that will be where your negative goes to the battery. The negative going to the negative, and the positive with the fuse on it that we've crimped going to the positive. It's very simple. It's very hard to stuff that up. So we're going to connect that up to the battery, run our cord so it's nice and neat, and it's pretty much finished. Okay guys, so as you can see, I've screwed this in, and I've actually gone and put some pipes, PVC pipe, and screwed into that as well to give it a bit of extra support. and just to stop me from having any sharp screws there. And I've just gone and siliconed up where those wires are coming through. They're just zip tied onto this big hinge, as you can see. And then those wires go inside of there, basically tuck around the outside there. This is where my battery is. You can see the battery. You can see I've hooked the positive wire and the negative wire up. And that's as simple as it is. And then those wires from the battery are running down the side of the hole and then out of here to where the transducer is. And then you can see I've got the grommet and the silicon at the back there, right up the top where it's not going to be sitting in water. That is officially how to install a sounder on your, not kayak, on your jet ski. Hey guys, how's it going? So it's taken all afternoon. The sun is starting to set, but we finally finished off. It turns on, it works. By the way, you should never turn it on while it's not in the water, because it does screw up the transducer. It sort of fries it out, so make sure you only turn it on once it's in the water. But we just turned it on to test it. It's working good. I'm really happy with it. It took probably about 2 hours, so not too long. Pretty easy to do. Anyone could do it with basic tools. If you found this video helpful, can you drop a like and subscribe, turn on post notifications. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.